finding that there's just bipartisan reasons to engage on energy overall and how climate is part of that, lowering emissions through mostly technology. The U.S. has a great story to tell. So helping to really tease that out and recognizing there's been advantages that the U.S. has because of our fairly stringent environmental laws. Comparing that to other countries, we're doing really well.
As President Donald Trump has only been in office less than 2 months, the long-lasting impact of his presidency could have on domestic and international climate mitigation efforts has yet to be seen. Concerns continue to float around the administration's renewed focus back on fossil fuels and the withdrawal from the Paris Agreement. Though at the same time, some allies are still confident other Western nations will be able to fill any gap created on the global stage. Within the U.S. itself, the conservative climate movement is growing as more Republicans and conservatives have expressed belief in global warming and mankind's impact on the climate crisis. Now, the reasons for involvement may differ from those on the left, with more of a focus on conservation or energy security, but many of the goals remain the same.
Conservatives have a unique approach there, and it's not just about one form of energy or the other. It's about looking at the clear problem, which is this uncontrolled combustion of fossil resources that leads to air pollution and climate change. And when you focus there, it allows you to think about technology and all of the above technology solutions that address that one problem, specifically to save lives and improve quality of life.
Our goal is to reduce emissions through U.S. policymaking, and we're not just focused on the United States and our emissions, because we're actually doing pretty well. We're about 11-12% of the emissions profile worldwide. So as the world's largest economy, we've got a relatively low emissions footprint today.
We're outdoors a lot. We want to see that we're able to have a beautiful, healthy planet. We want to be able to experience nature, experience the outdoors. We're concerned about habitats. We're concerned about rivers.
One of the things that excites me about the conservative climate movement is we are laser focused on an all of the above approach, on a quality of life approach that says we're going to look at what is improving air quality. We're going to look at that one problem, keeping carbon emissions out of the air or pulling them out of the air, addressing that uncontrolled combustion along with its co-pollutants.
As these Republicans look to advance a clean energy transition and other climate-related reforms, they're making it clear that they aren't trying to convince anyone that climate change is real. For many, the benefits of clean energy and lower emissions speak for themselves.
This is where the mainstream environmental movement has really gone wrong in a lot of places, as they impose these litmus tests and they say, well, if you don't agree with me on X, Y, and Z, then you are not going to be productive at all. And I don't think that's the right framework to be working from.
I do try to show that, what the benefits of clean energy are. You don't have to believe that the climate is changing to support American homegrown energy. You want affordable, reliable, clean energy, whatever that is.
I think you can absolutely prioritize American energy production, which will reduce emissions, without buying into the larger climate change narrative.
While advocacy and education are key parts of these organizations' missions, these women are largely turning their attention to actionable reform in Congress, with permitting reform leading the discussion.
We need to find a way to reform permitting that allows for speed and safety.
I'd say number one policy is permitting reform. Get that done and get that over, and then continue where we are on looking at various energy credits and what makes sense to continue and what doesn't.
Let's talk about how we can do more and how technology can be part of that. And that policy making is really important to getting emissions reductions more so down the road.
Even if you can permit something immediately, it's a 5-year wait list for a natural gas turbine. There are no really operational SMRs. They're not ready for commercialization yet. Small modular reactors. There are wait lists for wind turbines. Right now we have more solar waiting to join the interconnection queue than is currently deployed in the entire country.
The Empire State Building was completed start to finish in a year, and we're now waiting 18+ years to permit transmission lines.
Sometimes it's a combination of regulatory and technical. It's hard to build things. It is hard to build material things.
People want to see more critical infrastructure, whether you're thinking of it only in terms of very renewable projects or very traditional projects. They both need permitting reform.